I started working at 15 because nobody told me not to. That's the simplest explanation. Not heroic, not tragic. Just the quiet understanding that if I wanted shoes that fit, lunches that didn't come with commentary, or the ability to leave the house without asking for money, I'd have to solve it myself. My parents called it initiative. Then they forgot about it. By 16, I was paying for most of my own things. By 18, everything. University was a patchwork of part-time jobs, scholarships, and the kind of budgeting that teaches you which weeks you can afford fruit. I never asked my parents for help, because the few times I hinted at needing it, the conversation somehow circled back to my younger brother, his stress, his potential, his future. He was the project. I was the proof they didn't need to worry about me. That became my role without anyone ever saying it out loud. When I moved out, there was relief in the house. Less noise, less demand. When I graduated, congratulations were brief and practical. When I found stable work, my mother said, "Good. Now we know you'll be fine." It wasn't praise, it was closure. I bought the house at 25 on a gray Tuesday morning, signed papers, shook hands, drove over afterward just to sit in the empty living room and listen to nothing. No ceremony. I didn't post about it. I didn't tell my parents right away. Not because I was hiding it, because it didn't feel like something that needed defending. They found out anyway. These things travel. The first reaction wasn't anger. It was confusion. "How did you afford that?" My father asked, not accusatory, just unsettled. I explained, salary, savings, years of not spending much. He nodded slowly, like the math offended him. After that, the tone changed. Conversations shortened. My mother asked fewer questions about my life and more about timelines, when I planned to settle, whether I intended to help out, more now that I was comfortable. Comfortable was a word they hadn't used before. My brother was still living at home. Still figuring things out. Still receiving help that was described as temporary, then necessary, then deserved. His stalled progress became a family concern. My progress became context. I started noticing phrases. "You've always been independent. You don't need us like he does. It wouldn't hurt you to contribute more." Contribute to what wasn't always clear. The lawsuit arrived in a plain envelope. No warning call. No argument beforehand. Just documents explaining that my parents believed I had benefited unfairly from family resources. Emotional, logistical, reputational, and that my financial independence had altered expectations in a way that materially harmed my brother's prospects. That sentence stayed with me. Altered expectations. They weren't claiming I took anything. They were claiming I failed to stay small. I remember sitting at my kitchen table, reading it twice, not because it was complicated, but because it felt unreal in its calmness. It wasn't written like revenge. It was written like correction. Like they were fixing a mistake. I didn't call them. I didn't cry. I didn't feel angry in the way people expect. Mostly, I felt oddly embarrassed, like I'd misunderstood the rules of something everyone else knew. I hired a lawyer because that's what the letter instructed me to do. At the first meeting, she listened without interrupting. When I finished, she said, "This isn't about money." I nodded. I already knew. Court is quieter than people think. No speeches, no drama. Just schedules, filings, and the slow stripping away of emotional language until only claims remain. My parents avoided looking at me. My brother wasn't there. Their argument rested on a moral idea disguised as legality, that my independence disrupted the family balance, that by succeeding without assistance, I had indirectly deprived my brother of support he otherwise would have received more efficiently. It sounded reasonable if you believed fairness meant sameness. My lawyer dismantled it without raising her voice. Income records, bank statements, proof that I had never received financial assistance beyond what any minor child is legally entitled to, proof that my house purchase involved no family assets, guarantees, or influence. Then came the moment that shifted everything. The judge paused, looked at my parents, and asked, Can you identify a single material contribution you made to the defendant after age 18 that would justify this claim? There was a long silence. My mother opened her mouth, then closed it. My father said, "We supported them growing up." The judge nodded. "That is not a debt." Just like that, the case lost its center. It was dismissed, cleanly, professionally. No commentary on motives, no lectures. Just the quiet authority of a system that doesn't care about family narratives. Outside the courthouse, my parents walked past me as if I were a stranger. My mother looked relieved. Not about losing, but about not having to explain herself anymore. That was when it finally clicked. They hadn't sued me because I ruined my brother's chances. They sued me because my life proved the story they'd built around him wasn't the only possible one, and that made them complicit in its failure. We don't talk now. Not formally, not dramatically. There was no explosive break, just a thinning out of contact until nothing substantial remained. I still live in the house. I still work. I still take care of myself. Sometimes I think about that 15-year-old version of me and wonder if I would have done anything differently if I'd known independence would come with this kind of cost. I don't think so. Because the truth is, I didn't leave my family behind. I just stopped playing the role that required me to fail quietly so someone else could feel whole.